jump up on things and just start headbutting.
Is that why he lost a horn?
Actually, I don't know why he lost it. Or Snickerdoodle, I think is a female.
Females have horns?
That's a good point. So it is a male.
Maybe not.
I've only been here a month, man.
Welcome back, adventurers. So today we find ourselves doing a little bit of a detour because we're not at Disneyland, not at Knott's, not at Universal Studios. Instead, we find ourselves at San Diego to visit the Zoo Safari Park. This is one of my favorite places to go. They have two different parks, actually the zoo and the safari park. They're very distinct and different from one another, but also similar in a lot of ways. I haven't been here in more than like 10 years, probably since 2009.
I've never been.
Melody's never been here, so there's gonna be a lot to unfold and unpack because there's so much to do in this park, given that it's only a zoo. I mean, who would have thought? So what are we waiting for? Let's go inside and join us on this Dream Park adventure. You'd be surprised for a zoo how much stuff there is to do. They gave us a little printed map, and this is like 900 acres worth of stuff. They have, obviously a large bulk of it is the actual like savanna and African safari exhibit, which you can't actually walk into. That's where they take the trams and the safaris, but all this other stuff, all these trails, these winding trails that go in and out and weave through all the stuff, that's all walkable, and you can visit all the enclosures and exhibits that are in there.
We're gonna try to get as much walking done before our wildlife tour.
Yeah, so which one are you most excited to see?
The elephants, if there are elephants.
And as soon as you walk in, we got greeted by a little blue bird. What's up?
I just found Elephant Valley.
Elephant Valley.
Yeah, so I guess we will see elephants.
You can either go left or right, and as soon as you turn right, you are met with Wings of the World, an aviary walkthrough. Ooh. Don't be fooled by these rocks. I'm pretty sure they weren't painted white. Oh, look at this guy. He's colorful. What are you doing? There's a lot of birds in this enclosure. Oh, look at him. I like his hair. It's tricky because when you're at a zoo, some animals are just naturally introverted and some are extroverted, so you may not even see all the animals in a particular enclosure. Like this guy, he must like the attention. He's just in the middle of the road. What's your name? He's like, this is my turf.
I'm gonna see which one it is. Raikanal's helmeted guinea fowl.
What's on your head? What if he likes being pet?
What if he doesn't like being pet? That's the real question.
What if he likes peanuts? You like peanuts? But as soon as you leave the aviary, you get another type of bird. It's the flamingos and the ducks. They're actually not standing on one foot. Melody pointed out there. Most of them are using both feet. They must not be real flamingos. They're probably fake flamingos.
Very realistic fake.
These are probably the flamingos you put on your lawn. And you can also see from here the balloon looks like it's running. I don't see any people in there, but that's where you can hop on the balloon. It's $20 per person from what we understand. So you go, it's first come first serve. They can close it down based on weather conditions though. So it's a windy day, you probably won't be able to ride the balloon, but today's pretty clear. I don't think we're gonna have time for it. Pretty cool if you can make a trip on it. Why are these lesser flamingos? Why are they not the greater flamingos?
They're not as pink.
And then these ones are the Chilean flamingos.
That one shows it on one leg.
I don't know if I can tell the difference. They look like, oh.
There's some that are more white than others.
They all look the same. And that one just dropped a little bomb. And you have a little overlook over here with some other birds. What kind of birds are these? Our second fork in the road. There's a lot of forks in the roads here. You can go on Nairobi Walk, which is that way. Gorilla Trail, Gorilla Forest, Lagoon. So right over here in what I call Birdland, you have an overlook. Ooh, this is pretty nice. Congo Fishing River, I forget the name, but it's like this treehouse kind of setup where you have an overlook of all the water. Not a whole lot of birds in here, just a lot of ducks. Walk yourself over here, there's an outlook over there, but you have this whole view of water, a little mini waterfall. Then you got some ducks in there, but you also have a better view of the flamingos. They're so pink. Frank, what are you doing? It's like, no, I don't want to talk to you. On the gorilla trail, there's only 2 gorillas in this particular enclosure. There's Frank There's Monroe. Monroe is just the one we saw eating. And Frank had a paper cup in his hand. Now he's got a blanket, but he looks like he's on timeout or something. I don't know. Oh, he's posing. I get it. He's posing. Oh, there's another one. Popped up. And then Monroe just went in the cave. Oh, Monroe's out of the cave. I don't know what they're doing. So we're at marker number 7. Gorillas that way, Lagoon Loop, which is where we just came from. And then there's a bird show and Africa Tram. The Africa Tram is included with the price of your admission. It is about 20 to 30 minutes, usually about 60 people per tour, and that goes around the perimeter of the African safari. The one that we're doing, it actually goes inside in the heart of the savanna, the African plains. So you get some different photo opportunities. Plus, it's only 15 people, and you have different stopping points where you can take photos. Whereas the Africa Tram tour is just straight through, there's no stopping or anything. So it is $90 for the tour that we got, but the Africa Tram is included if you want to plan for that in your day.
This is Mango. He's a military macaw. And you say, hello. Good boy. So he's in his 30s, so he is definitely not a youngster. But military macaws and macaws in general, parrots, can live to be on average 60 to 80 years of age. He's super, super smart, but he's also very noisy, and that is very typical of a bird like this that is native to the rainforest. Can you scream? Yeah, super loud. They are incredibly social birds, and they love to fly around. They love to wave at our guests. They have the intelligence level of about a 3 to 4-year-old human child. So if you've ever been around a toddler, that's basically what it's like being around a parrot. The fun fact about Mango here, he doesn't like to fly. But when he was really young and learning to fly, he was really good at taking off and really good at soaring, but he couldn't stick landing. So he crash landed a few times and scared himself off from flying. So obviously, parrots are known to talk, right? That's what people say. It's a little misleading. What they can do is mimic. You got it. They can mimic, they can copycat, like, hello, right? That doesn't require a high level of learning, really. It's kind of easy for them to copycat. What's a little more tricky is their ability to pair and associate. I do have one example of that I could show you, and that is a math game. 1 + 2. Pretty good, right? We'll try another one. All right, what's 1 + 3? 4. There it is. So that's pairing and associating. He doesn't know math. He just knows how to pair and associate.
Oh, you're not giving him enough credit. Growing up, I always wanted a parrot. I thought they were like super cool, and you could teach them to say things. But she's saying they're not as smart as we think they are, I guess. I mean, I don't want a 3-year-old in my house all the time, so no parrots. It's like a rainforest. Ooh, you have a bird list right here. So many colorful birds. He's so blue. There's a mouse bird. The only tricky thing is when you're in an aviary that includes small birds, it just makes it extremely difficult to spot them because they so easily camouflage and hide in the leaves. And they blend in with the flowers, so you hear them, but you can't see them. Unlike this guy, he doesn't understand the camouflage element. The Hidden Jungle Aviary has 2 rooms connecting. This one's a little bit bigger. You got some black birds, or dark green birds. He has a long neck. They have all these trees and branches to sit on, and they decide to sit on the vents.
Robert, can you do that magic trick with your hat?
With my hat? You mean my Halloween costume? Yeah, like where I'm like, ta-da! I am like human.
Well, that didn't turn out to be what we were expecting. We thought it was gonna be a real zebra. Turns out Robert the zebra is actually on the screen, and he can just like put hats on himself, and he's like talking with the kids. So, not the kind of animal encounter we were expecting. So to get our animal counter fix, we're gonna go into the petting zoo, or at least try to get in, because I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of kids that want to feed the goats. But I want to feed the goats. Oh man, oh. Cocoa Puffs. Making friends?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Tony.
Tony? This kid, he's missing a horn. Close up. Oh, hi. I don't have snacks.
Oh my gosh, so soft. It's like a blanket.
What kind of conditioner do you use?
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Leave it up to the goats to jump on things.
That one will jump up on things and just start headbutting.
Is that why he lost a horn?
Actually, I don't know why he lost it. Or Snickerdoodle, I think is a female.
Females have horns?
That's a good point. It is a male.
Maybe not.
I've only been here a month, man.
I only see, oh, there's two back there, and then you got the two in the front. There might be more behind this tree. Oh, there's a little baby elephant. He's drinking from the water right now, drinking from the fountain. Now we're at Outpost 16, which is one of the starting points you can take for the African Plains Trail. Elephants are gonna be at the very start of this, which is kind of right on the Nairobi Trail. So if you came from the petting zoo, you would run into this one first.
We're kind of figuring it out as we go.
We definitely look like tourists with the map open, cameras in hand, and we're about to get run over by this truck. Feels very tribal in here. We went down to the Kijaz something overlook, and we're coming up on the lion enclosure, where they have kind of the more traditional look. They have the glass enclosure with the lions on the other side of the glass. So let's hope they aren't hungry and try to eat me through the glass. Is it lion roaring or is it just sound effects?
I think it's real.
Oh.
Wow.
Look at this process.
Look, it's coming down.
I have snacks. Come here. I have snacks for you. It's crazy how, like, out of all the places, they just decide to sit right in front of the glass and face it.
She got her tongue out. She got her tongue out.
I can relate to that. I pretty much look like that when I'm hungry. Just. This has probably got to be my favorite enclosure because it's not an exotic animal or anything that you would expect to see at a zoo. In fact, it's man's best friend. Hey, where are you going? Now, if you look here, you see an African Labrador. Very rare creatures, endangered to be honest, but we managed to breed them in captivity and include them in this here exhibit. So the dog is actually included in this exhibit because he's befriended a cheetah who is actually a part of this exhibit, but he's hanging in the grass while the dog's sniffing around. So you can see him right over there. He's hanging out, enjoying the shade. But you'll find this particular exhibit over by the cart safari, which is kind of at the very tip corner of the African loop. And that's where you'll find the cheetah. There's also a cheetah safari at the tip of the African loop, but there's also a cheetah safari. So a lot of different activities that you can get at the safari park on top of the regular admission. There's a lot of stuff included with it, but if you want to go the extra mile and do some of the more adventurous stuff, then you can do the additional ticketed items and safaris. Oh, is he like a cousin of a zebra or something? So I guess it's called an okapi. Has like the legs of a zebra, but the tongue of a giraffe, and kind of has a longer neck too. He really wanted those leaves, but his tongue was just not long enough, so he couldn't reach them. Southern Gerenuk. I've never heard of these. That's a Southern Gerenuk, but they look like a Bambi. And then you have these birds over here who are sharing the enclosure. This is all still in the Africa Loop Trail. A lot to get done in the southern half of the park. We now have to make sure we round up to the top to go visit Australia. That itself is going to be a windy mess, and we're going to need our maps open for sure. He looks so fluffy. The other one's just eating stuff off the floor. This was the lemur trail, but the lemurs got moved to the San Diego Zoo, so they replaced them with these gibbons, which I'd never heard of either. They look like lemurs, but half stuffed animal. Hello. When you come up to the north part of the park, you can either fork left or fork right. If you go left, then you'll hit Australia. If you go right, you'll hit one of the newer exhibits, which is the Tiger Trail. That's where we went first, went through a little bamboo forest, and came up on the tiger exhibit over here, which we found the tiger, but there's only one problem. He's taking a little tiger nap right now. Nap sounds good.
Mm-hmm. After all this walking.
Maybe there's like another tiger that we'll run into, hopefully, because I didn't really want to see a sleeping tiger, but if that's what it comes down to, that's fine. There's still plenty more animals to catch over in Australia. Like, I think there's a walkthrough kangaroo exhibit, maybe? Don't quote me on that, but at least that's what we heard. Okay, so we found one tiger, but I don't think that's as impressive as the back side of water! I mean, really, that's pretty much what everyone came over to the zoo for. You gotta see the backside of water. Eighth wonder of the world. Right, it's the eighth wonder of the world. Who wouldn't want to see it? Forget the tigers. I did not know that as part of the Australia exhibit, they have a cool little platypus exhibit. It's very dark in here, as you can probably tell, and very, very like immersive feeling. I feel like I'm in the Rainforest Cafe. The only downside is that it makes the platypuses really hard to spot because they have water, and I'm not sure how many rooms they have, but there's a lot of space, and it's really hard to see them with all this low light. Might be able to catch a glimpse under the water, but most people aren't having much luck. So if there was a game of hide and seek, the platypuses would definitely win. They have little facts about each animal, and so I learned that platypuses are venomous, so I won't try to pick a platypus up next time.
Next time.
So it worked out in our favor. We got the 345 wildlife safari, and no one else wanted to take the 345 wildlife safari, so we have a safari all to ourselves, plus our guide and driver, of course. I'm just hoping we'll get to see some wild humans. I hear they're pretty active this time of year. A little water tan. You don't belong here.
Yeah, not ours, but they were here first. And then some rhinos over here off of the passenger side.
Here we go. So I guess the deer, they just sneak into the enclosure. This one specifically, the rhinos, and they just have a snack time whenever the rhino's done eating their food. And they live in mutual ecosystem harmony. You guys are ready for Halloween.
Like a superhero's cape, or like the Cape of Good Hope, that southernmost tip of the continent of Africa. That's where they get their name. You know, we often get these guys confused with water buffalo. One of the big differences between these animals is sort of their attitude. So water buffalo are a little bit more mellow. They're largely domesticated throughout Southeast Asia, throughout warmer climates in Asia.
Like, excuse me. Bye.
The tree that he's eating from is actually one of the trees that will be found in the parts of Africa where Maasai giraffe are found. And if you look really, really close, you can actually see the thorns on the trees. He's gonna get poked, it's just gonna happen, but giraffe have very, very tough lips. They have a lot of hair on their lips. It actually goes all the way to the inside of their mouths. So basically like where their lips meet in the middle there is actually very furry, very fuzzy. They have very thick skin on their tongues and a very, very hard upper palate.
Getting a little glimpse of the giraffes and the nature of their long tongue. So I guess, what is it, 17 inches, or inch of tongue for every foot of the giraffe. So as you can see from the close-ups, he was grabbing those leaves with quite a lengthy tongue. And that one is doing the splits. Time to lock it up. That's the end of the safari. We took a little tour around South Africa, and now we're back in San Diego. And we also managed to get a private safari for just us two, which was great. But for now, we need to try and swing back up to Australia because there were a couple of things that we didn't quite get to knock out in time before the safari. So with the last 15 minutes and the park will be open, we're gonna see if we can squeeze it in and then make our way back to the entrance to round it all up. So we came on the inside of the kangaroo and the wallaby walkthrough. I don't really see any frolicking kangaroos. Maybe we'll run into one. We got all kinds of different kangaroos, wallaby, a patamelon, and a quokka, which those guys are cute. It would make a great stuffed animal. How's it going? How's the tree? I guess we were just on the wrong side of the enclosure because they're all over here on this side, hiding amongst the bushes. Oh, hi. I feel like kangaroos are just like Australian T-Rexes. Their arms are just like, look at how he uses his tail to balance. It just bends. There was a lot more than I actually thought there were. I guess they were just huddling in the brush over here in the corner.
That was a highlight for sure.
But once they started putting them away for bed, they were all ready to go. So they're just crowding by the door. We want to see if we can swing by the bonsai garden because bonsais, they're cool. So I'd like to see if we can go in there real quick before we head out. But if not, then I think we covered a lot of ground today. I didn't think that we were going to get as close as we did to a kangaroo, but pretty good. So let's see if we can do the bonsai. We got here just about noon, and then the park was only open until 5 today, so there was definitely a lot of ground for us to cover. Granted, we didn't get to spend as much time as we would have liked at each exhibit because there's definitely a lot you could read into with all the signs and facts about all the different animals and species and habitats, but I think we covered a pretty decent amount for the time that we were here. So if you ever find yourself in San Diego looking for something different to do besides the traditional theme parks, make sure to visit the Safari Park or the San Diego Zoo. I think most people don't think zoos when you think of entertainment or amusement. So make sure to leave time for the Safari Park and the San Diego Zoo. Both different parks, you can get membership passes, so you can come all year if you want. You can even get a trifecta with like Legoland, SeaWorld, and the Safari Park. There's a lot of options. So hope this video helped you figure out what you want to do with your plans, and we will see you guys on the next Dream Park adventure.
Bye.